Hello again, this is Mr. Summers. So here I'm just going to have a brief discussion about the syllabus. Obviously we're not in real time, so if you have any questions about the syllabus or anything for that matter that I have not answered in this video, then please let me know. You can leave a message in the classroom on OutSchool, or you can send me a message on OutSchool, whichever you prefer. So this course is a study of Plato's Apology, as I said in the first video, setting the scene. And as we said again, the main figure in the Apology is Plato's teacher Socrates, and in Greek the word apologia means defense. So the Apology gives an account of the trial of Socrates. It's the defense he gives before the jury. Now, I would argue that it's not simply a defense given of himself, it's a defense of philosophy. And of course that begs the question, well, what's philosophy? Philosophia means, first and foremost, the love of wisdom. And this is a class on philosophy. Who should take this class? Well, first and foremost, the student who takes this class should be someone who seeks to love wisdom. The examination of the text that we study should be a threshold, not just to a better understanding of Socrates or Plato, but to a philosophic approach to learning. That is, to begin to think of learning in such a way as you're concerned about it for its own sake. So the main thing you should be concerned with here is to learn for its own sake. The study of philosophy could have a lot of practical benefits. People who study law often study philosophy or go into teaching because of its emphasis on clear thinking and systematic learning. And those are all good benefits. But the primary concern with philosophy is to try to get after wisdom and the truth. Now, as I say here, this is a first study of the Apology. There's no expectation that you've studied philosophy, logic, or ancient Greek. So this will probably be your first steps in philosophy, and I'm very happy to be able to help you with that. Now, I want you to pay attention to this quote here from Francis Bacon. This one here. He says, "Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man." Okay, so, and that's kind of the pattern of this course. You will have to read. Conference refers to our discussions and even perhaps some informal debates we'll end up having. And we will have to write. And it's that progression from reading, careful, reflective reading, to discussion, to writing, that will help you make real progress in understanding the text and hopefully translate into some good benefits as well for your other classes. Okay, so class expectations along those lines. Let me make this a little bit bigger. First, do the assigned reading. I can't stress this enough. The class is a class on the text of Plato's Apology. So there won't be a lot of reading, but you'll need to do a close reading of the text. And we're going to talk about what it means to do a close reading of the text. It's probably going to mean taking notes and writing in the margins. As I think I showed you in the other video, if you look at my copy of the text, it's all marked up, right? So what I'm really looking for you to do is to interact with the text in a very close way. Now, when you've gone through a given reading assignment, and you'll get one each week, just a handful of pages, several pages, you should have at least several questions and comments. And you should come to our discussion forum on Thursdays and Fridays with those questions and comments. Okay, so for the discussion, you should come to the discussion forum prepared to discuss. Let me be clear. These discussions aren't tests, so you shouldn't be really stressed out about this. If we were in an actual classroom, you'd see that these discussions are focused and serious, but also rather informal in the sense that we'd really be talking, giving ideas about the text, putting out questions about the text, and going back around, around amongst each other, not just with me. The first thing to do along those lines is to come with questions, right? I really need to highlight this because this is really important. In our class and in life in general, we can't get the right answers if we don't have the right questions. You shouldn't feel embarrassed if you have a question. On the contrary, if you don't have a question about the reading, you probably missed something important. And probably you should have several questions. I've read this text numerous times, and I find it interesting because each time I come back to it, there's always something a little more that I get from reading it that I didn't get the first time I read it when I was in high school, right? And even questions that I'm left with or restated. So first thing, come to the forum with questions. You don't always, you're not, it's not a performance. You don't have to feel as though you have to have all the answers. Have as many questions as you can. And I'm happy and looking forward to answering them. Second, it's fine to disagree in a civil, respectful fashion. And I want to even say it's good to disagree. You can disagree with me. You can disagree with Socrates. You can disagree with each other. That's part of doing good philosophy. Now, what is civil and respectful? Now, first and foremost here, you have to be polite, right? Normal expectations of courtesy govern the conversation. But more deeply, in order to constructively disagree with anyone, you must first listen, or read in this case, because you're reading on the forum, read attentively, as the case may be. In other words, if somebody says, X is such and such a thing as blank, they make a certain declaration or affirmation, that's assertion about something. In order to disagree with them, you have to hear them, right? This is an exceptionally important skill to learn. It's exceptionally important in philosophy. It's exceptionally important in life. It's exceptionally important in every aspect of life. Human beings can disagree and probably should disagree. But in order to disagree constructively, we really need to pay close attention to what they're saying. And that really gets at the heart of respectful disagreement. All right. So, in sum, I'm going to be looking forward in our discussion forum. I'll be looking for whether or not, you've read the text. And an example of that might be, Mr. Summers, on page such and such, page 20, I noticed that it says blank about blah, blah, blah. What do you feel about this? Or what should I think about that? Or what does that mean? Right? So reference, even when you pose a question, refer back to the text. When disagreement occurs, again, I'm looking to see that you show evidence you paid close attention to the assertion with which you disagree, whether it's an assertion made by Socrates, whether it's an assertion made by somebody else in the text, whether it's an assertion made by a classmate, right? So make sure that there's constructive disagreement happening. Now, about writing. You will be expected to write one essay. Now, first and foremost, let me stress that this shouldn't stress you out. Students get really stressed out about essays. And I think the reason that happens is because we all too often think of an essay as a final word on a given topic, right? It's a paper that somehow indicates that you know everything you can about what was taught. And that sense of finality causes stress. You're like, oh, sheesh, what am I going to say? This is so important. Okay, but we have to recall what essay originally meant. Essay originally meant an attempt. So when I give you the question associated with the essay toward the end of the class, right, I want you to bear that in mind. You're attempting to answer the question in such a way that you're basing your answer on the text and on good reasoning, right? You're attempting to prove something of substance about the apology. It's not a research paper. You shouldn't. You're not expected to go beyond the text and our class discussions to answer the question. it will be an open book essay. So you don't have to tweak out about, oh, it's an essay, or it's a really big deal. And it won't be horribly long. We're just looking for a couple pages here. All right. Now, as we go on, you will receive feedback throughout the course on your progress. If you'd like to receive grades for your work, please let me know. If you do choose to be graded, the coursework will be weighted as follows. So the first thing is the participation in the discussion forum. That's 33%. There will be 2 quizzes, one about midway through the class and one at the end. That will be very factually based about the text. Not too long, not too arduous. That will be worth 33%. And then the essay that I've already mentioned will be worth another 33%. Notice that the participation portion of it is weighted just as much as the essay, because I really want you to understand that, to get the impression that if you want to get a lot out of this course, whether or not you're getting the grade for it, a good discussion based on good reading of the text is crucial to success. All right, so that's it about the syllabus. Again, if you have any questions, please post them in the classroom discussion section. Okay, thanks.